All right, aloha, Tulsi Kratz and Bernie Kratz, and those of you who are non-Krat, thank you for tuning in. I am Dave, and this is the Radical Independent. Third wave politics, I don't know what you want to call it, non-partisan, post-partisan. I am partisan on issues, okay? That's what I'm partisan on. My friend Kelly, who is a very smart person who has hung out with the likes of Lee Camp and Jimmy Dore. Those are two very funny people, by the way. And they are certainly fired up about the things they believe in. Jimmy Dore absolutely just annihilates the establishment almost every day. And it's awesome to watch. You see, I thought Trump was anti-establishment a few years back. I really did. And I think there are a few things that he says that might appear anti-establishment. And the truth of the matter is, he's basically just another corporatist politician who, based on ego, ran for president and won because the other candidate was just so bad. And he at least had some kind of message for working class people. And by the way, working class people will go out and vote if they think you can help them improve their lives. Fairly simple. If you're a hedge fund manager and you're running for president, Tom Steyer right now is running a ton of ads in New Hampshire. And guess what? His poll numbers are going up. It's incredible. He's running on the idea that Donald Trump is corrupt. And, of course, he was the guy who has pretty much bankrolled this whole impeachment fiasco, which is taking away from the issues we need to discuss. Tom Steyer is not going to be for Medicare for all. Tom Steyer, or Medicare Choice, for you progressive wordsmiths out there who want to splice and dice and want to say, hey, I'm done with Tulsi Gabbard. This is a game changer. No, it's actually not. Again, I would urge you guys to read the House and the Senate versions of Medicare for All, and then read Tulsi's proposal and tell me why Tulsi's proposal is a game changer and it's a game ender and so forth. So, Kelly says here, what is the actual significance of the Bernie-Tulsi warring factions? Well, Kelly, the Bernie people are mad because the Tulsi people are still around. And Tulsi went off the reservation a little bit on issues that they feel make her kind of like a stealth. I've heard she's a stealth conservative. No, she's not. Tulsi, the definition of a progressive and a conservative, those definitions need to get tossed because they don't have any meaning. They have little meaning. It's just, again, tribal nonsense for the most part. Now, when you say you're an honest, true progressive, hopefully you're talking about issues, and you're not talking about how you're perceived. Because this is a big deal these days, that like AOC is perceived as a progressive. Okay, I don't buy that for a second. I think she's an opportunist. She may be progressive on some issues. I know she loves to talk about climate change, but she backs and supports a non-binding resolution. I want a politician like Tulsi Gabbard who says, I have a proposal. This is legislation. If we vote on it, it becomes law, according to Schoolhouse Rock and a few other places. So I would prefer a doer, okay, and not a talker, not somebody who grandstands, not somebody who's constantly mugging for attention, whether it be just to, increase the brand or, this wave, we call it, what do they call it? The squad. Look, the squad is about the squad right now. The squad isn't about real change because they would be focusing on legislation. They wouldn't be talking so much about Trump. To beat Donald Trump, you have to have better ideas. Tom Steyer he might have worse ideas than Donald Trump on most issues, by the way. Do you want another billionaire hedge fund manager running the country? Or just the premise of a guy who really has no business in this economic climate and the way this system itself is beginning to implode, because you can't have a war-based economy? You think Tom Steyer is going to take on the military-industrial complex? No, he's there because Biden is faltering. He knows intrinsically that Warren is going to be probably annihilated by Trump if it's a Warren-Trump thing. Steyer would get up there and just throw daggers at Trump all day long. And it would be the greatest thing for his ego in the world. And that would just, and people would, again, watch the cage match while these two men talk about things that most Americans could give a crap about. Anyway, Kelly's tweet here is very instructive, because the Democrats, what are they going to do at the convention? They're going to marginalize Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard. And most of progressive media thinks that they're going to get a different result from 2016, that it's going to be different this time. It really is, because the rules got changed, and the superdelegates, they've been postponed a little bit, and we all know those superdelegates are going to come around to the progressive way of thinking, or the independent. No, they're not. What best represents the DNC? Well, you can tell by which candidates get the most play on corporate media. Very simple. It's Joe Biden. It's Elizabeth Warren. It's been Pete Buttigieg, believe it or not. And now you've got Steyer. Steyer is going to have an impact on this. I didn't think he was. Oh, and by the way, who's lurking in the shadows? Hillary. She's been popping up more and more, and there's more talk, and there are articles being written how she can jump in and save the day. She knows that Elizabeth Warren is going to be weak against Trump, and Trump is going to have a field day with the whole Native American DNA test. And by the way, that's a question that the elites really, they don't care that she lied. As long as she keeps, the money train flowing. She said she's a full-blown capitalist, or however she looked at it. And by the way, my beef isn't with capitalism. My beef is with the regulations and laws, things like Glass-Steagall, that need to be put in place. There need to be protections all over the place to protect citizens from free market abuses. That's really what it boils down to. You want to call it economic populism. I don't like the S word. I've told people this. I think it's a branding error. I think it's a huge mistake. Anybody over 40 or 50, for the most part, is going to cringe, especially if they're apolitical. They want to vote for somebody who is going to help them and their family. Can I get these prescription drugs at an affordable price? All right. Can I send my kids to a school that will actually educate them? And will I be in debt for the rest of my life if I go to college? All right. These are normal things that people want addressed. And then there are people, out here like myself who think that free speech is important, that I'm really worried that with Julian Assange in prison, more or less, awaiting his, final days on planet Earth, we are witnessing something very dangerous, which is really going to put a little crimp on the way we communicate with one another, whether it be on this platform or other platforms. If that stuff is allowed to continue, where you can't be a real whistleblower, not a fake whistleblower, if you can't really show the evil stuff that our government is doing, then what are we doing here? What is this for? So Kelly believes here that you need to get away from this tent. I've been saying it since I started this channel. Hence, the channel is called The Radical Independent. I am interested in the Green Party. I am interested in a nonpartisan approach to issues, or a post-partisan, where both people from the left and the right sit down and say, look, this economy isn't working for the middle and lower classes. It needs to be repaired. It needs to be overhauled. It needs to be scrapped even. And we've got to start this military intervention stuff. It's got to end. This stuff going on in Syria. Oh yeah, he's pulling the troops back. No, he isn't. He's just repositioning the troops in Syria. Read between the lines. This isn't what I voted for in 2016. Neither candidate offered a clear vision on foreign policy. Trump just said, I'd like to not intervene as much, and the hope that we had was he went around telling everybody that the Iraq War was a big mistake. Apparently, when he got into the Oval Office, a bunch of generals surrounded him, a bunch of deep state ops, and said, hey, can't say that. Can't say that. This is how the country makes its money. And they probably told him, you want to be a successful president when it comes to the economy, well, you better listen to us. And we continue the wartime economy that has been going on since World War II. And doesn't show any end in sight. So we've got a ton of work to do. If you're a Tulsi Gabbard fan, stay the course. If you're a Bernie fan, stay the course, and realize that attacking the other candidate because you want the other candidate to more or less drop out, so your candidate excels and takes more of that vote. You're starting to see a bit of a divide between these two candidates. Tulsi has her own constituents. There are a lot of Bernie and or Tulsi people out there, but there are a lot of people that were just Bernie or bust, or Tulsi or bust. And for me, the only way I consider Sanders is if he starts talking about foreign policy more, and Tulsi is not in this, like she's just out. But she's pledged to go right to the convention, which I think shocked a lot of the people who thought she was just going to, walk away and throw her support to Bernie. And so I think that's a good strategy, because her voice needs to be heard, because nobody else is talking clearly about the cost of war. So, the future, folks, is not the DNC. Either way, this is my last go-round with the DNC, or, the two-party system as we know it. This is it. I have played this game, my whole adult life, trying to figure out the lesser of two evils. I want something to vote for. And if it means I'm voting all by myself for a third-party candidate, so be it. I will do it. All right, done with this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you can help me out over on Patreon monthly, even if it's just $1, I'll take the $1. Also, you can do a one-time donation via PayPal. All right, and the email address, the PayPal email, will be in the description of this video. Till we meet again, I'm Dave. Aloha. Have yourself a great day.